Star Wars is quintessential for the battle between good and evil, the dark side and the light, Jedi and Sith. Let me tell you, the Sith have had a lot of very powerful members. And today, let's dive into that world, ranking each and every Sith and dark side user from weakest to strongest. So let's get to it. I know the Knights of Ren are technically a whole group, but I'm not going to go through the whole group and rank them all individually. So they'll just collectively take last place here. They were a group of dark side warriors that went around causing destruction across the galaxy and did in fact have force powers. They were actually active during the First Galactic Civil War between the Empire and the Rebels, but really stepped in the spotlight when Ben Solo took charge of the group as Kylo Ren. They kind of filled the spot of the Inquisitors for Kylo, but none of them were all that impressive, and Kylo Ren was actually able to solo the group. The sixth brother is a member of the Inquisitorius. We're going to see a lot of them on this list, and while he was trained by Darth Vader, was an extremely aggressive fighter, that doesn't necessarily mean that he was a good fighter. In fact, when he came across Ahsoka, well, she said that he lacked any real skill and pretty much only relied on brute force, which is why she was able to easily beat him. The apprentice of Baylan Skoll, Shin Hati is considered a dark Jedi, works as a mercenary for the Galactic Empire. She's a skilled and deadly fighter, able to take on whole groups of warriors all by herself, and she also has a connection to the Force and will quickly use it in a fight. However, Shin Hati is just a Sith apprentice, so she'll only make it so high on this list. The ninth sister was once a Jedi Knight, before turning to the dark side and becoming one of the Inquisitors. She's a skilled Jedi hunter, being trained by both Darth Vader and the Grand Inquisitor. While not quite as agile as other fighters, she more than makes up for it for brute power and imposing size. However, even with all that, the ninth sister kinda lacks the combat power of other dark side users. She lost to Cal Kestis during multiple fights, despite the fact that Cal wasn't all that trained as a Jedi at the time. Darth Shah is a Dark Lord of the Sith and was known for being able to dual-wield lightsabers during a fight. However, while she was an official Sith Lord, she fell to the infamous Rule of Two, as her apprentice Momin murdered her during a duel. The 10th brother, formerly known as Proset Dibs, was originally a Jedi Master, but he attempted to murder Mace Windu and turned to the dark side. Mace Windu said that the 10th brother was so powerful in the Force as a Jedi that he'd ever known, and was a considerably skilled fighter, despite the fact that he had no eyes. However, the Inquisitors were betrayed by the Purge troopers, and while the 10th brother managed to hold them off for a while, they eventually got the better of him. Ren was the original leader of the Knights of Ren, was a powerful dark side user and lightsaber fighter, although he did prefer to send the Knights to do the fighting before himself. He originally tried to recruit Ben Solo to join the dark side, and that ended up not working out too great for him. Ben did join the dark side and killed Ren in a fight, becoming the new master of the Knights of Ren. The fifth brother was an Inquisitor for the Empire, and while he participated in several high-profile missions, he actually wasn't the best lightsaber fighter. He used a lot of big swinging strikes, and this left him wide open to counters from more skilled fighters. He was bested by Cal Kestis during their fight, but was utterly humiliated by Darth Maul. However, because of his power in the Force, you can actually say that the fifth brother is one of the more dangerous Inquisitors. He had all sorts of Force powers, and it was this that made him such a dangerous Jedi killer. The seventh sister was the Inquisitor tasked with tracking down Ahsoka Tano by Vader himself, so that kind of speaks to how she was viewed in the Empire. She wasn't as powerful or sensitive in the Force as other Inquisitors, although that's not to say she didn't have some impressive Force abilities. However, she more than makes up for it with her lightsaber skill. She could duel against Ezra Bridger, Kanan Jarrus, and even Ahsoka herself for a little while. However, her skill still clearly had its limits, and she was no match for true master fighters. Reva Savander was the third sister and briefly held the title of Grand Inquisitor. While she willingly served the Empire and hunted down Jedi, she also had an ulterior motive. She was gonna kill Darth Vader in order to get revenge for his massacre during Order 66. She was definitely motivated, but ultimately outmatched. Darth Vader toyed with her throughout their entire fight, and it wasn't just Vader either. Obi-Wan Kenobi and the real Grand Inquisitor were able to beat her too. The second sister is one of the most dangerous and powerful Inquisitors out there, an expert lightsaber duelist, one of the deadliest Jedi hunters. She had some pretty powerful and unique Force powers, being able to predict her opponent's next move and create countermeasures to beat them. She was also a really skilled fighter. The only reason that Cal believed he won that fight was because the second sister wasn't at her best. If she was, well, she probably would have won. The apprentice to Sith Lady Darth Shaw, Darth Momin was able to kill her and ascended the role of Master himself. He studied extensively in the nature of the dark side and power of the Force, and was able to use the Force in some pretty unconventional ways that were never replicated. He was also a skilled and deadly duelist. After his resurrection, he was even able to fight with Darth Vader. Like the name kinda suggests, the Grand Inquisitor was the leader of the Inquisitors and the chief Jedi hunter in the Galactic Empire, receiving direct orders from Darth Vader himself. He's skilled and experienced in all 7 forms of lightsaber fighting, and is a particularly deadly fighter with his spinning, double-bladed lightsaber. He's also very powerful in the Force, was even a dangerous adversary in death, fighting against a young Luke Skywalker and nearly beating him. Baylan Skoll was originally a member of the Jedi Order and a Jedi Knight, but while he survived Order 66, he fell to the dark side and became a Sith mercenary working for the Empire. Baylan was a powerful and overwhelming fighter, a master of a blade, who relied on his brute strength and heavy strikes to physically overwhelm opponents. And it works too. Baylan Skoll was even able to fight against and overpower Ahsoka Tano. Honestly, I have no idea where to rank Snoke here, because he's really just a creation made by Darth Sidious, was manipulated by the Empire, but still he had a mind of his own and he was powerful. He wasn't officially trained as a Sith Lord, but showed off some pretty impressive Force powers, especially with the dark side, although he did use some light side powers as well. He was also able to overpower both Kylo and Rey at the same time, although that was more through greater experience, because both of them are more powerful in the Force than Snoke. Originally a Sith apprentice to Count Dooku, Savage Opress would eventually become an apprentice to Darth Maul and a Sith Lord himself. Savage Opress was a dangerous and powerful fighter, relying on his overwhelming strength and just simply overpowering opponents. And it worked. He could fight against Anakin Skywalker, Obi-Wan Kenobi, even helped to beat his former master Count Dooku. The guy even fought against Darth Sidious himself, and lasted a lot longer than Jedi Masters. While Savage is more known for his lightsaber skill, he was a formidable Force user and can unleash some devastating Force attacks. Asajj Ventress has been a lot of things in her life. A Night Sister, a bounty hunter, even a Jedi Padawan. But she's most known for being a Sith apprentice and assassin for Count Dooku. Ventress had more willpower and raw Force ability than a lot of Jedi Knights. Even Darth Sidious noticed her Force potential and feared that Count Dooku would use Ventress to try and overthrow him. But she's probably more known for her lightsaber prowess. She was a master fighter with plenty of raw power, which allowed her to fight against Obi-Wan and Anakin, or even General Grievous and Count Dooku. I know General Grievous isn't technically a Sith Lord or dark side user, but this list just wouldn't be complete without him. The Supreme General of the Droid Army, Grievous went around the galaxy conquering planets, all while fighting and killing countless Jedi, his sworn enemies. Trained by Dooku, General Grievous was a master in several different forms of lightsaber fighting. He definitely isn't afraid to fight a bit dirty, and is probably responsible for killing more Jedi in a lightsaber fight than anyone else on this list. Quinlan Vos was originally a Jedi Master during the final days of the Republic. He was known for bending the rules, but was definitely respected in the Order, especially for his ability of psychometry. He was able to perceive memories when touching different objects. However, he eventually fell to the dark side for a time, and during that time, he became an aggressive and unpredictable fighter. He even trained under Asajj Ventress for a while, became even more deadly and dangerous. Ben Solo, better known as Kylo Ren, the Master of the Knights of Ren, the Supreme Leader of the First Order, he's both the nephew of Luke Skywalker and grandson of Anakin Skywalker. So he's got some crazy Force lineage there. He was extremely talented and skilled with a lightsaber, one of the best lightsaber fighters of his era. He was also extremely powerful in the Force. A lot of this power was raw and untamed. Count Dooku was originally a Jedi Master and Yoda's apprentice, but once the Galactic Civil War started, he fell to the dark side and became Darth Sidious's newest apprentice. Even in his old age, Dooku was an extremely skilled and incredibly deadly lightsaber fighter. He was able to fight both Obi-Wan and Anakin by himself several times. Said that only Mace Windu was his equal, and the only Jedi better than him was Yoda. He was also very knowledgeable and skilled in the Force, particularly with telekinesis, using Force lightning during fights. Darth Maul was Darth Sidious's original Sith apprentice, a formidable warrior with power in the dark side and with deadly skill with a blade. But after he was beaten on Naboo, Palpatine kinda just cast him to the side and moved on. But Maul survived, and through the pure power of his hate and rage, he became one of the most powerful Sith who ever lived. He was trained to be a living weapon, one of the deadliest and best trained Sith the galaxy had ever seen. But while he's most known for his skill with a blade, he's actually very powerful in the Force. It's his Force potential that allowed him to survive literally being cut in half. The master of Emperor Palpatine, Darth Plagueis was obsessed with immortality, and through his extensive research, he was able to discover how to influence midichlorians in order to create life. His knowledge in the Force also helped keep people from dying and overcome death. He was actually able to figure out how to become immortal. He did this by transferring his consciousness into another body, and Palpatine was able to use this knowledge too, after killing Plagueis. Mother Talzin is the clan mother of the Night Sisters, a coven of Force-sensitive witches. She claims that she doesn't manipulate the Force directly like Jedi or Sith, but all of her dark magic comes from the Force, so she makes the list. Mother Talzin is one of the most powerful beings in the galaxy, especially when she's on the planet Dathomir, and she isn't just able to absolutely toy with Count Dooku, but she can actually match Darth Sidious himself. Darth Vader has been consistently called one of the deadliest Sith in history, one of the most powerful entities in the galaxy, and someone with the potential to rival or even possibly overthrow the Emperor himself. This kinda did come to fruition. He did kill the Emperor, even if the death didn't really stick. He has massive raw Force power and potential. He possibly has more Force power than almost anyone in the entire galaxy. He's also a highly skilled and incredibly deadly fighter. He's the best duelist the Empire has, and fights with a unique and unpredictable style that actually takes bits and elements from all combat techniques. He got more and more skilled between A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and then between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, to the point where it was said he was unparalleled in terms of pure skill. He had no equal, putting him above the likes of Obi-Wan, Luke, maybe even the Emperor himself. Sheev Palpatine went from Senator to Supreme Chancellor of the Senate to finally Emperor of the Galactic Empire, all while he was also pulling the strings behind the scenes as the Sith Lord Darth Sidious. Ultimately, he caused the Clone Wars, eradicated the Jedi almost entirely, very nearly succeeded in squashing any rebellion to his rule. Even after his death at the hands of his apprentice, well, that was just only temporary. Palpatine managed to resurrect himself and cultivate enough power to very nearly take over the whole galaxy a second time around. Palpatine has consistently been called the most powerful Sith Lord in all of history, the most powerful being in the galaxy, and he's continually growing in power too, starting with when he killed his master Darth Plagueis, to when he was too powerful for even Master Yoda, and he actually got even more powerful after he died and came back to life. Palpatine possesses almost unlimited force power and potential, being described as a dark sun blazing in the Force, a black hole in the Force, or an event horizon. No doubt about it, Darth Sidious is the most powerful Sith Lord that we've ever seen. But what do y'all think? Sound off in the comments down below. I know you're gonna have thoughts and feelings on this one for sure. If you stuck around this long and made it to the end of the video, that's amazing. Thank you so much for watching and for supporting us. And if you want to go subscribe, well, go subscribe. You're going to see more videos like this one every single week. I'll see y'all then. I'll see y'all next time.